Today's topic is thyroiditis. Thyroiditis is a group of disorders that all causes thyroid inflammation. Now there are three major type of thyroiditis: acute, subacute and chronic. The clinical pictures, it varies from either hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism and either signs of thyrotoxicosis. Now again the subdivision of these three major divisions. So the most common type of thyroiditis is Hashimoto thyroiditis, which is chronic thyroiditis. Now subacute thyroiditis is also called a decoherence thyroiditis. Postpartum thyroiditis is also type of subacute. Silent or painless thyroiditis is also type of subacute. Drug induced is also subacute. Radiation is also subacute. So the last one is your acute thyroiditis, which is mostly bacterial infection. Now first we will discuss Hashimoto thyroiditis. It is a enlargement and inflammation of the thyroid gland. Now it is the most common cause of thyroiditis. It is also known as a chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis. The most important thing is it is autoimmune disease. Because it is an autoimmune disease, here our immune system is attacked by mistakenly attack your thyroid gland. It causes gradual swelling and enlargement of the thyroid gland. Now the characteristic features of Hashimoto thyroiditis: it is a gradual thyroid failure because of the autoimmune destruction of the thyroid gland. Means there is a normal parenchyma which is replaced by the lymphocytic inflammation. The name of the Hashimoto thyroiditis derived from the scientist name Hashimoto describe it in a goiter patient with there is a intense lymphocytic infiltration of the thyroid. It's also known as a struma lymphomatosa. Now incidence, it is primarily disease of the older women. It can occur in children in non-endemic goiters area. Here is several chromosomal abnormalities because it is autoimmune disease. Now the basic pathogenesis behind it because of our immune system react against a variety of the thyroid antigens. Here there is a replacement of the normal thyroid cells by the mononuclear cells, either by the infiltration or by the fibrosis. Now as a clinical feature, morphology, commonly it present as a goiter which may be diffuse or nodular with the characteristic features of bossulated feel in a clinical examination. It means multiple nodules because either diffuse or nodular. Here the capsule is intact. The gland is well demarcated from the adjacent site. There is no involvement of the surrounding structure. Now in Hashimoto thyroiditis or chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, the clinical features are because of the hormone deficiencies. Now hormone deficiency, that means either hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. So the features are like fatigue, drowsiness, difficulty in learning, dry and brittle hairs, dry, itchy skin, puffy. These are all the features of the hypothyroidism. Weight gain and heavy menses. Now the important thing is investigation. There are, other than the basic investigation, there are some special investigations are T3, T4, TSH. The important thing is the thyroid autoantibodies, anti-TP or anti-thyroglobulin antibodies, which are present in only in this case, autoimmune thyroiditis, also called Hashimoto thyroiditis. Now after the blood test, there are many other investigation for inflammation like CRP, ESR, CBC, TLC, that also includes. After blood, there is for a confirmation we have to go for FNAC. On a FNAC, we can clearly see a diffuse lymphocytic and plasma cell infiltration with formation of the lymphoid follicle, form of follicular hyperplasia. Here in a histological examination, there is a damage to the follicular basement membrane. Treatment I will tell at last. Now the second category is subacute thyroiditis. Subacute thyroiditis is a self-limiting disease. Here it is associated with the triphasic clinical course. Triphasic means initially it is hyperthyroidism, then hypothyroidism, and again back to the normal function. Now it is responsible for the 15 to 20% of the patient presenting with the thyrotoxicosis. In a typical subacute presentation, as the name itself, thyroiditis, so there is a pain, fever, malaise, and the consistency of the thyroid gland is firm. Now here in subacute thyroiditis, as told, it is triphasic clinical course. Initially there is a high T3, T4 level, but here is inflammatory markers are raised, but there is no antibodies. Like in a previous, in a Hashimoto, there is a autoantibody of anti-TPO and anti-thyroglobulins. Here there is no rise of, there is absence of thyroid antibodies. Here iodine uptake is very low in the case of subacute thyroiditis. In general, the following three forms of subacute thyroiditis are recognized. Means subacute is again divided into three classes. First is granulomatous subacute painful, also known as a decoherence thyroiditis. Second is your lymphocytic thyroiditis, also known as a subacute painless thyroiditis. Now remember this thing, the only painless thyroiditis is your lymphocytic thyroiditis, which is a subtype of the subacute thyroiditis only. And the last one is your postpartum thyroiditis, that means post-pregnancy induced thyroiditis, which is also subacute. Now decoherence thyroiditis, again it is a subtype of subacute, so it is again self-limiting disease. It is also painful. The clinical features are the same. It is painful swelling of the thyroid glands thought to be triggered by the viral infection such as a mumps or flu. Now all the subacute thyroiditis may follow a viral infection, including this. Now the next class, postpartum thyroiditis. It is like a Hashimoto thyroiditis. It either can be induced by the autoimmune condition or can be because of the viral infection. But it only happens in a woman who have recently given birth, means post-pregnancy induced postpartum thyroiditis. Here mostly it is self-limiting, so within around 6 months after giving birth, it causes temporary rise of thyroid hormone level, which can be present as a thyrotoxicosis features can be present. It's self-limiting. Now the third class is your overactive phase. It's a phase of thyroiditis. Within the first 1 or 4 months, there is phase of hyperthyroidism, in which there is enlargement of the thyroid gland, anxiety, restless, insomnia, weight loss. These are all the features of the thyrotoxicosis. Now the tests are again same, blood test, T3, T4, TSH. The abnormal antibodies and antimicrosomal antithyroglobulins are present. Again, for confirmation we have to go for fine needle aspiration biopsy, cytology. Here again there is a multiple inflammatory cells we can see in FNAC. Now the treatment of subacute thyroiditis. In an initial phase, during hypothyroidism phase, treatment is usually not recommended because it's only lasts for few periods, which is self-limiting. About 2 to 4 months it will subside automatically. If the symptoms are extremes, means the pain persists or swelling increasing in size or other symptoms like signs of thyroidosis present, then we can give a patient a beta blockers to decrease the secondary symptoms. If there is a continuation of the symptoms, we can give thyroid hormones. The investigation of choice for subacute thyroiditis is your steroid, corticosteroid, which is mostly prednisolone. Prednisolone can be given a dose of it can be vary from the patient to patient and weight of the patient, to 10 to 20 mg for at least for 7 days. Thyroid hormone like thyroxine we can give if there is a continuation and persistent of hypothyroidism. After giving of hyperthyroidism, treatment of hypothyroidism, the medication is stopped to determine whether or not the thyroid has recovered to its normal function. Just to look for the because it's self-limiting, so we just treat the initial symptom. Now we wait for the few months. If so, medication may be stopped permanently. Otherwise, the medication must be resumed because of the permanent injury to thyroid gland. If there is a failure of thyroid gland, now we can go for, if there is thyroid failure after this treatment, we can go for thyroid surgery. In the thyroiditis, thyroid surgery is only just because of the compressive symptom like compression in trachea and esophagus. Now the next class is your Riedl's thyroiditis. It's a very rare disease. Here the replacement of the normal thyroid parenchyma by the dense fibrosis, like it is a collagen disease, like in other collagen disease, like in a peritoneum retroperitoneal fibrosis, like a mediastinal fibrosis. Here a thyroid fibrosis can occur. Here the parenchyma is replaced by the fibrosis. It's a painless goiter. As it is a painless goiter, because of fibrosis, there is a sudden increase in size. And because it's fibrosis, so the swelling is very hard and fixed. Means thyroid gland is the neck of swelling in the neck is very hard and fixed. So here we have to differentiate it from a malignancy. Which malignancy I told you in previous class. Anaplastic carcinoma, which is very fast growing and hard and fixed. Now we can differentiate it from anaplastic carcinoma by the open biopsy. Now the associated with the focal sclerosis syndrome, that means this syndrome means there is a tendency of the patient for making a fibrosis, collagen disease. Clinical feature already told, non-painful, rapidly growing thyroid mass. Now the complication is, because it's very rapidly growing, this because of rapidly growing and fibrosis, there is an encroachment beyond the thyroid capsule. Non-thyroid problem can be associated with the Riedl's thyroiditis. Complication of this is airway obstruction because of the compression in the trachea, dysphonia because of the nerve involvement, hoarseness of voice because of the recurrent laryngeal nerve involvement, either signs of hyperthyroidism as per the function of the thyroid parenchyma. Now treatment of this is corticosteroid, again same thing, prednisolone. Now the next is tamoxifen. Tamoxifen is an anti-estrogen hormone. It also used in postpartum thyroiditis also. And the last thing, levothyroxine. Now surgery is just for a wedge resection of the thyroid isthmus. Means if there is a compression of the trachea, we just cut the isthmus, so there is no compression. Surgery is indicated when the tissue is needed for diagnosis. because in radial thyroiditis either it can be unilateral involvement or bilateral involvement, we have to excise that lobe just to relieve the compressive symptom. Now the next class is your drug-induced thyroiditis. Again, the many drugs like amiodarone, lithium, interferon, cytokines, and these are the most common drugs side effect which can cause thyroiditis. The clinical features are again same, either features of thyrotoxicosis or hypothyroidism. There is no hyperthyroidism in drug-induced thyroiditis. Now the next is radiation-induced thyroiditis. Like a drug-induced, because of the some treatment with radioactive iodine for because in a hypothyroidism patient, or external beam radiotherapy for a certain cancer patient, already spoke in previous class. Both the radiation, either external beam radiotherapy or by the iodine radiation, here the clinical features are occasionally thyrotoxicosis, more frequently features of hypothyroidism. Now the last one, acute infectious thyroiditis. It is acute suppurative thyroiditis, is quite very rare cause. It is because of the bacterial infection in the thyroid, which can causes pus to collect and form an abscess within thyroid gland. Now the bacterial infection may carried in the bloodstream from the anywhere in the body, either because direct the most common organism, streptococcal, staphylococcal. And the treatment of this is if there is abscess formation, we have to either incision and drainage, or we can go for debridement or lobectomy. Now, as thyroiditis is self-limiting, so it can, thyrotosis is transient, but the hypothyroidism is usually permanent. So in the initial phase, we just treat the thyrotoxicis. Now for the hypothyroidism, we have to give levothyroxine for lifelong. Now again, the treatment depends upon the clinical features, either by the thyrotoxicity feature or features of hypothyroidism, or we can directly treat the thyroid pain by the anti-inflammatory, like either anti-inflammatory or NSAIDs, or with aspirin. Thyroid toxicosis treated by the beta blockers. Now for the hypothyroidism, we have to give levothyroxine for lifelong, dose already told in previous classes. For the pain management, anti-inflammatory like NSAIDs, aspirins, steroid therapy with prednisolone, dose already told. So this is the today's topic, thyroiditis. Thank you.